got Aaron here, and hey, it's Global Sports Update. Aaron, great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to you, Rufai. Good morning to you,
good.
Doctor.
Yeah.
And let's start it off with the draws being done, that was done yesterday, of course, in the UEFA Champions League. And it was quite exciting understanding that the parents are quite outstanding.
Deja vu.
Now, of course, the biggest of them has to be Real Madrid against Liverpool. When you look at it, 5 wins for Real Madrid, 3 wins for Liverpool. When it comes to the UEFA Champions League, 1 draw, and they will be hoping that they can turn the hands of time. In his own words, Real Madrid has the best European record, and we know this, but we also know that ours is not that bad. On top of this, we'll have the Anfield, and everyone knows what this means. Of course, they've actually turned the tides around when it comes to playing at the Anfield for all the Reds, or Liverpool as some would like to call them. So let's see what actually happens. February, we will be having all this play out, and more importantly, we'll be feasting on the tie that will be Liverpool versus Real Madrid and Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich is another very keenly contested fixture that everyone actually bracing themselves for. So let's see what actually happens in that particular fixture as we actually press it further, and we'll be hoping to see more things actually play out. And in the bid to actually press it on, let's talk about, we were speaking about Liverpool. Now, there are reports that their new shareholders at the moment, talking about the Fenway Group, are hoping that they can do something very remarkable, which is, they are saying that they are open to receiving new investors. And some are saying the reports in the UK is actually that the Fenway Group want to exit since they've seen how much Chelsea was actually sold for. £2.5 billion on the table with another £1.9 billion for infrastructures. They are looking at, they might be able to get that, understanding that they bought Liverpool about over £300 million back in 2010. So they're looking to cash in on that because the talks are that the NBA is expanding its roster. And there is a team open in Las Vegas. 2 more teams will be added to the roster in the NBA, and they are hoping to probably key into one of the teams in Las Vegas. So they want to exit. They've called Morgan Stanley and some other banks in the United States to evaluate the club and then begin the process. Although they've come out with a statement saying that they just want new shareholders, that they're not selling the club, but everyone knows a little bit different.
Sounds like Fabu.
Okay, so let's see how it actually goes. But they've actually done well, talking about Liverpool. Over the years, John Henry has actually been able to marshal the club. He brought them back to prominence, although they are still complaining that they cannot match the muscle that the likes of Manchester City, Manchester United, and maybe very soon Newcastle actually wield in the Premier League in terms of transfers. Now, away from that, let's talk about the Europa League. Real Madrid, on the other hand. Real Madrid yesterday had the day to forget. After hearing the news about the UEFA Champions League draw, they went against Rayo Vallecano, and Rayo Vallecano stunned Real Madrid on the day, 3-2, a late penalty, sealing it for Rayo Vallecano. They were ecstatic, understanding that this means bad news for Real Madrid. Real Madrid have actually dropped on the table. Barcelona are topping the table as we speak. So they will be hoping to club their way back. We just have one more fixture before the World Cup festivities begin. So everyone will be trying to chime into that particular fixture. Now, away from that, the Europa League draws were also done, and the mouth-watering draw that has got everyone talking is Barcelona against Manchester United. We have quite a lot of them, Nantes against Juventus and the rest of them, but Barcelona against Manchester United in the playoffs, not the round of 16, because the format has been rejigged a little bit. And everyone is talking right now that Manchester United or maybe or Barcelona might not be playing Europa League football come the new year. Let's see how that one actually plays out. And quickly, let's talk about the World Cup. Brazil, the Seleção, the Samba Boys, as some would like to call them, have released their 26-man list. And it was a fanfare because it meant so much to so many of them. Of course, we will get to see it. And quite a lot of them were ecstatic. This is Anthony in his house receiving the news. He was all in celebratory mood because he has been called up to the national team. This is Richarlison with his family. He says he's injured, but he's looking like a fit man as he was jumping. This is Bruno Guimaraes and his family celebrating that he got a call up to the national team. And one man, Pedro, took it a step further. He was with his family and he decided to propose to his girlfriend. But questions are arising that Roberto Firmino has been dropped. Looking at his form this season, people have asked the question. Richarlison that is going hasn't scored a goal this season. No. Firmino has got 6 goals, 3 assists. Why is he missing out? He's left to be seen. Finally, before I come to you.
I don't think that's fair enough for Bobby.
Okay. But he's paying the price because some have said that...
but last season, he was not playing throughout. I mean, Bobby just started finding his form this season.
Okay, quickly.
Because the likes of...
the NFF went on a courtesy visit yesterday, and I must point out the role that the former president and now FIFA council member, talking about Madrid, because the reports out there has been that the economy is bad, and several of the sponsors of the Nigeria Football Federation are thinking of pulling out. So he went to do a calming visit to several of these people, talking to them that this new man can be trusted. This new man, talking about Ibrahim Gusso, is a steady hand that can ensure that you get your ROI, the return on investment. And they went around 3 or 4 of the major sponsors, and they got assurances that they will stick with them come the new year. The fact that we're not going to the World Cup is a big downer for us.
Yeah, it is.
But they've assured that they will, the same courtesy they afforded the former president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Melvin Pinnick, will be afforded to this man. And Pinnick still has a huge role to still do a lot of back talking to ensure that this sponsors stay. Because that was the big fear. That if Pinnick goes, several of these people will want to exit. Some have already exited, and some...
And Aaron, it's only natural because of the sake of continuity.
Yeah.
I mean, Pinnick did all that work to bring the sponsor in the first place. Because he's gone now doesn't mean he shouldn't stay back and still ensure that, that relationship is smoothed.
True.
It has to be said. Secondly, I think what is even most important is the fact that this new man in charge of NFF must do everything possible to ensure that we must qualify for the next World Cup. You said it's a big downer. It's a big revenue loss for us, even in the media.
True.
That Nigeria didn't go for the World Cup.
True, you can say that.
And it is really, really debilitating for our pride as a nation and for everything. So it's very sad. Congrats to the players that got selected from Seleção yesterday. But I think the big sticking point out for me, based on current form, I don't know why Bobby Firmino shouldn't be there. But
they say he was replaced with Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal. They were the...
Yeah, that's a good case with Martinelli. Yeah. But you'll have looked and compared with people like Richarlison. But also, you also make the case that sounds like Richarlison not being in the World Cup. I mean, it's quite complicated. It's quite a
Richarlison is never fully fit.
It's a topsy-turvy one.
Okay.
But Firmino should have still stood a chance. I mean, I think.
Okay. John Fashanu says it is disappointing.
Yes, it is.
That Nigeria will not be at the World
Painful.
Cup.
More than disappointing.
And that perhaps many Nigerians will not watch the World Cup matches.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Well, while I agree that it is disappointing, I think Nigerians will still watch those matches.
Yes, they will.
Because many of the superstars that will be there from the various leagues, all the confederations, the 5 confederations that have about 23 teams there. They are superstars that Nigerians are familiar with. I think we'll still enjoy the match all the same, the tournament. Now, 4 players from the league, Premier League, in the round of 16 for the Champions League. You've only focused on Liverpool. No,
because that's the biggest fixture. Doctor, that's the biggest fixture.
How about Man City? How about Tottenham? How about Chelsea? Don't stand a chance. You haven't mentioned them.
Okay.
And then finally, the Liverpool club.
Yeah.
Well, it was about £300 million in 2010.
Yeah.
Now it's worth £4.4 billion. Well, the owners, Fenway Sports Group, they now say they are not selling. They are only looking for shareholders. Even if they were to propose selling, they can't find anybody to buy in England. They will have to still look towards the US or maybe China.
No, but the appetite has grown.
Or maybe the Middle East.
Now,
even for
US
the
billionaires, the US billionaires are actually keen to get into the Premier League craze, so to speak. Yeah. So they will find buyers.
That's where the shareholders are likely to come from.
Yeah.
But Liverpool has not been doing well, however. That's something they have to address. Because they've not been doing well in the Premier League.
Now, I don't know if this news will further destabilize the team in the Premier League, but one thing is certain. Jurgen Klopp is almost asking that they give him enough money to be able to contest with Manchester City, who are consistent season in, season out in the league.
I don't believe that. He got $100 million to buy Darwin.
Thank you very much.
But he says it's not enough.
Aaron, we've got to go.
Okay.
We've run out of time.
All right, thank you.